silent mode to avoid interruption. Thank you for your cooperation and attention. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to be the MC for the seminar tonight. My name is Lily Zhu, and on behalf of APAPA Tri-Valley Chapter and the CAST Silicon Valley Chapter, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you. We appreciate you taking time off your busy schedule to join us today. We hope you will learn a lot about leadership this evening. If you have any questions, please write down on a small piece of paper. If we have time at the end, we will address those. Today's event is hosted by APAPA's Tri-Valley Chapter and the CAST Silicon Valley Chapter. APAPA is the acronym for Asian Pacific Islander American Public Affairs Association. The mission of APAPA is to empower Asian and Pacific Islander Americans in civic and public affairs through education, active participation, and leadership development. CAST Silicon Valley is Chinese Association for Science and Technology, Silicon Valley. CAST Silicon Valley focuses on organizing activities for IT and innovative park, and is dedicated to build a long-term and healthy Sino-American bilateral relationship for the Chinese scientists, engineers, startups, and high-tech entrepreneurs. To begin this evening's program, we are very pleased to have our ceremony major, Mr. Bill Clarkson, to deliver the opening remarks.
Welcome to San Ramon, and perhaps the first thing I want to say is a thank you to the APAPA Board of Directors and Andy Lee in particular for inviting me to come back for a second year in a row. You always realize that they'll invite you the first time, but it's always nice to be invited back twice, assuming that you did an okay job the first time. The nice thing about San Ramon, the thing that is really encouraging to me that you would choose this forum and this city to have this, San Ramon is a majority-minority city. It's a city that has become not just open and very welcoming for all people from around the world, and they're flocking to San Ramon. And they're flocking to San Ramon because not only is it a safe city, it was rated, I believe, the second safest city of our size anywhere in the country. It also has the best school district in the state from my point of view, especially for a unified school district. And it's also a place that now high-tech jobs are flocking here. And the interesting part why they're doing that, and why I think tonight's conversation on leadership is interesting, San Ramon has perhaps the highest concentration of professionals, whether they're engineers, analysts, than any other city in America. The highest concentration of professionals anywhere else in this country. And other companies are now recognizing that, and they're coming to San Ramon into the valley here because they know they can begin a business, a startup, another enterprise, or a large company can come here with their business and settle in Bishop Ranch. And the neat thing is they have lots and lots of homegrown talent that they can choose from and bring into their company. And so it's a pretty exciting place to be, San Ramon. I know I am thrilled to be able to talk about the kind of city we've become, but more importantly, the kind of city we are becoming into the future. So again, thank you. Welcome to San Ramon. Now, I apologize for not being able to stay for all of the interesting remarks that are going to happen. One of the nice things, but challenging things of being a mayor is that you have a series of events to go to. And I have two more I have to stop by and say hello to next. So again, thank you very much. I look forward to hearing the comments that are made tonight from Andy and from others. So thank you and have a nice evening.
Thank you very much, Bill, for your wonderful remarks. I'm also a proud resident of San Ramon. So now it is my pleasure to invite here at the stage our APAPA Tri-Valley Chapter President, Mr. Andy Lee, to say a few words.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to thank Cindy Chau for coming here with your busy schedule. I know you are very busy, so thank you very much for coming to the ceremony. And also, I'd like to thank Bishop Bench and Sunset Development Project. They are our great sponsor, and they provide this nice place. This is one of the nicest meeting room in ceremony. They gave us this room for free. So thank them very much. Also, thank you, Lily, for being the sponsor of this event. And Lily is a financial strategist. And also, of course, we cannot do this event without our volunteers. So let's give our volunteer a round of applause. Thank them very much. And also, I'd like to introduce a few VIPs. I introduced Sandy Chau. I think he will come to the stage a little later. And I'd like to introduce the former Moroccan mayor, Chau. And Regina Yin, a Papa co-founder, and CC, his wife, also the host for one of the most beautiful ranch. She's the host of that beautiful ranch. And also I'd like to introduce Ho Jin, who is the founder of Acela. And Jared Lowe, CTO of Acela. And we have the president of the Chinese Association for Science and Technology, Silicon Valley chapter, and Yu, and Vice President Guo Ying, and also Papa Charlie chapter Vice President and Treasurer Nancy Chen. I think next I'd like to invite Regina to come here, present a gift to Sandy, also give an introduction of Sandy. I know Sandy every year pretty much donates over $1 million or millions of dollars, but he does not have a penny for himself. So because he travels too much, still wear the same shoes, I think Regina delivered shoes to him. So let's welcome Regina.
Well, I don't want to hide behind the podium. And can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, my name is Regina Yin, and I'm one of the founders of Papa. And I'm sorry my husband Cici couldn't be here. And I'm very, very excited to have the honor to introduce tonight's speaker. And I think I've known Sandy for some time now, and I thank you for the honor. And Sandy is a very, very accomplished, successful business person, and I have the highest respect for this gentleman, and I feel we are very, very blessed that we have him to be here, because he is very busy, and oftentimes we can't get hold of him because he's traveling. And I will just read a few things about Sandy. And he has been very active in IT business investment. And he was the CEO, one of the largest and the most diversified construction and real estate firm in Taiwan. And Sandy also was the head of the consulting firm for many startups in San Francisco, Bay Area, and the founding president of the most influential American Manufacturing Association in Silicon Valley. And he started the Universal Semiconductor in San Jose. And he also has been very, very involved in many real estate companies in the United States and the Far East. So he is really a business person internationally. And And I think he also is a founder of the Vision New America. And he not only invested in a lot of business, and I know many, many years ago he started investing in people, particularly young people. And this is where we are so blessed. We have a very successful business person who is willing to take the time to come tonight. And that shows his investment in all of us. And as you know, a Papa co-founder with my husband, and I want to really, compliment and I think say your Tri-Valley chapter has been just wonderful, and a lot of leaders and a lot of young people is so exciting, and I think that's another reason why Sandy is here. And on a personal note, I know people like to know Sandy personally. Would you like to know about him? Yeah. He's successful. He's got a wonderful wife and very supportive of him. I tell you, when you have a husband who travels, works all the time, and you have to be very supportive of your husband. And beautiful 2 children. And Sandy is a good cook. He does cook very good steak. Maybe someday we get a fortune to taste his steak. Sandy also enjoys Chinese brush calligraphy, the writing. He can write with a small brush, with a big brush, and he also enjoys music. Sandy can sing Chinese song, American song, any song, you name it, and loves music. He loves art, and I think he also enjoys traveling. But Sandy is a person, a successful business person. He is not very complicated. I had the fortune traveling with him to a few places. He carries not as fancy brand name suitcase. He carries a very simple backpack, and just like no lining, very simple backpack. And the most important thing he has in his possession is a computer, of course. And his clothes is just like any other person on the street. And then, to me, I was shocked. He wore a pair of shoes year after year and after year. He wears the same pair of shoes, walking shoes, look very comfortable on his feet, but I can't stand it. He goes to meeting, same pair of shoes. He goes to the stage. He probably, I don't know what shoes he wears today, but he goes to, sightseeing, he wears the same pair of shoes. So Sandy, I wanted you to come to the stage. I have a present for you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Well, it's wonderful.
Sandy, I know you need another pair of walking shoes.
This is exactly the right size for me. And then I can throw away the shoe I've been using for the last 10 years. And this will last me the next 10 years.
I know. And I tell you, this is a gentleman, I think his life is just so simplified, and that's another thing we can learn. He certainly is my mentor, and we're very happy, and we look forward to your speech. And Sandy, may I present Mr. Chau to you tonight for a great speech.
Okay. Yeah. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good. My suggestion is this: to be more intimate? Could people from this side try to move as much as to this side so that I can be interactive with you? So therefore, I don't know. Should I hide behind the lectern or should I be more interactive like this? I think up to you. Okay. All right. All right.
Maybe here's a microphone.
Oh, maybe I will use the mic. No. I actually need my notes for all of it.
Hello?
Just in case.
Hello? Is it working?
Yes.
It's working.
No.
Okay.
I need to refer to some of my notes, so probably is that thing. Everybody, is that very comfortable?
Yeah.
With me behind here is something you throw tomato, I can demo. All right. So therefore, as Andy, we talk about, and I've been talking to Andy. What kind of topic should I talk? And then he's very concerned about how to build a good future and then for our children. And then he's very concerned about their education and their well-being. And this is a lot of times people come over here is for that purpose, is that to provide the best environment and best opportunities for the next generation, and then at the same time we're paving road. And then it's very much the situation that we came here is just we're looking for a better future for everyone. Okay, for that, but somehow I was thinking about Regina had done a very good introduction of myself, exaggerated somewhat, but somehow I'm going to give you an introduction of myself. And then I don't know how much time I'm going to spend on it. If I cannot finish this, because tonight we have to clear here at 9 o'clock because of the janitorial and security guards situation. And then if I get lucky, I can get to 1/3 of my speech, and maybe 1/2 of my speech. And so therefore the question and answer, probably I will invite myself back to finish the speech, and then question and answer will be after that. So therefore, let me tell you what I'm going to do tonight. It's basically what is the relevance of my past experience to connect to the next generation, to their well-being, and what we want is that we want our next generation to be happy, we want to build a better world for them. And then of course, medical situation will make sure by themselves they will be healthy and make sure they have a lot of self-confidence, and then make them feel that this is a place that this is really something that they can build upon. And then and then of course not only this country, the world is actually getting, because of internet, because of the air travel and everything, make it look like smaller and smaller. So therefore, the whole environment, the whole, I would say, the village earth that we live in, that how we have to really cherish and really protect and then build upon that will be a sustainable future for generations to come. I think I think this is what Andy wants me to talk about, is how we build a better future for our future generations. And then also that we are talking about a society, the ever-changing society, how to be responsive to people, how to have the society that we really can participate and then enjoy, and we can make a difference. And then so because it becomes a very fair society, harmonious society, and responsive society. So therefore, I will cover by my experience and what my experience could connect to the ideal and to the belief that everybody might have. I think we'll all would like to be if we ever be here, your problem is my problem is your problem. The importance is how we get together and then face it to it, and then to accept whatever it is, and how together we can even participate well in it, and then most importantly, can we make a difference? And then it is a lot of situations that a lot of people, they don't participate because they feel, I give up, it's not possible. Or, well, I don't belong here. Sometimes I'll say that, well, I want to take less risk, and then maybe in some time I want to be in my comfort zone, but sometimes that comfort zone will be very limiting. So this is why I think it's very important. So my speech will be, I've been in many places in my life, and at first I will talk about my life, and talk to you about the impression in different stages in my life, and how am I going to relate to the thing I just mentioned in every stage of my life. So then this is exactly what Andy said. Talk about youth and what we are expecting of them, or how they expect themselves to be, and are we making a good choice? Are we in the right area? So therefore, I'm going to, if I have enough time, I'm going to talk about my second generation, my nephew and niece, and then the Kent. 11 of them, I will talk about 7 of them. So therefore, it's in relationship to your children. I mean, for them, they're all over 30. They're all between mid-30 to early 40s. So therefore, at least I can tell you guys their journey in relationship for your references. And then if I have more time, I will talk about my journey in my business. And then also, if any further time, then I will touch on the things that Regina touched on. Is everything else about the community work, and then the other involvement that I have. So therefore, maybe my anticipation could be lengthy, or maybe I can finish everything within the next 1 hour. Okay, so therefore, maybe I can finish in half an hour, and everybody just write me a question about it. Okay, now, let me give you a preview of how many places I've been. Before I was 28, I lived on the average of 4 years per place I moved. 7 places on average. So after that, it's not really any better. I mean, I've been moving again for a while. So therefore, I'm going to talk about maybe 10, 12 periods of my time, and each period, and then I'll do some comment on that period of my life. So therefore, I think in the middle of it, if you guys are too bored, then we just go to question and answer, and that's not my speech. It's very democratic. Okay. When I see too many yawning, then I will go to question and answer right away. Okay, I was born in Shanghai. The reason why is just Andy want me to come over and talk, because the reason why is just he'll consider old man always will talk about his past, and then they can't stop talking about their past. So I mean, in Chinese year, I mean, when Chinese New Year come over, and in the traditional Chinese way of aging, I could be called 70 years old in 3 months. So I'm still trying very hard. I hope that in 10 years I'll be just as strong as CC. but that is almost an impossible job. Last year, CC, we always say, he's about going to be 80 and act like 18. Okay, all right. I'm going to be 70, and then maybe I should act like 17 today. Okay, I was born in China in January of 1948, and then that year. Okay, one thing is this, I always surprise myself. I have a very unusual situation. My memory. I really do not know any documentation or any sub-certificates of anything or names whatsoever. I have no memory of that. Sometimes I go to the airport. I don't even remember I should carry my passport. And then I'm terrible in that sense. But about my memory. And then I cannot even believe it. But I would say it is very true. I can remember things before I was 1 year old, up to now. So it's a very unusual situation. I don't know why that has happened to me. I think it could be a disease or something. So therefore I was, before I was one, I would always want myself to be carrying out and things like that. And then when I start walking, and then people just prevent me to go places. And then before I was 1 year old, I remember many times I climbed the wooden stair straight to the second floor. And then one time I was seated, and the next time I just keep falling down. And then a couple times, and then one time I fall, I saw nobody there. I just don't say anything. And another time, I just fall from the top of the wooden floor, and then my elders becomes very much alerted, and then things like that. Oh wow! They just come rushing on me, because that was before I was 1 year old. Then I just started to cry, not because of falling, because all the commotion that get me so scared. And then one time, when I was over 1 year old, there's a commotion outside the building. And then I insist to go out, and then they don't let me out. So, but finally they carry me out, and then we look at the sky, airplane coming in. I remember airplane coming in. That is the Liberation Army of Shanghai. So 1949. So my time in 49, I live in an area of a Catholic area, right next to the cathedral. And then I just remembered when I was 2 or 3, and then every year on Christmas, you just sit before midnight, and when the door opened, they will have bags of candy for the kids. So that's a wonderful memory of that. And then I still remember they built the road, and later on, right next to very close by where we are, they built just many years afterwards, they built the People's Stadium in that place. So I still remember that. And I feel at that time, people are very transient. At that time, my father was away from home, and then and people keep asking me, "Oh, how's your dad? How's your dad?" And then a year later, my mom joined him. That was when I was 3, and then every time I walk to the corner store, they always say, "Is mom pregnant again?" And then this is probably being polite. So after 10 times every day, then I said, "Oh, my mom has already have a baby." So therefore, I still remember those kind of things. And then is my father have to go at that time. So there are actually quite a bit of stuff in that society. Let me talk about that society. in that society at that time, I would say people are insecure, and then they are very anxious. And my father was, when he was a teenager, he was working in the farm. He worked as a office boy when he was 14 years old. And then because of the countryside in Pudong, we grew cotton over there. And my mom's have sew socks in the village. And my father started to sell cotton from the countryside to the city. And then he find out the city people need socks also. So he decided to move the family to Shanghai, and then start some sock weaving thing by ourselves. And after that, he was able to hire maybe a dozen of workers, and then to supply. And then somehow things get pretty bad. So during that time, that is after the communists come in, 2 years later. That's I think in 1950, something like that. And then what happened is this. What happened is this, that the sock you sold the previous day for a certain amount of money, and then they don't pay you. And then a week later, whatever's been agreed upon, the value is only half. So business is very difficult. So he had to close that shop. And what he did, he said he had to buy food stuff, dry food and things like that, and go to Hong Kong and try to sell in the Hong Kong market. And then at that time, my aunt have, okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, now I can talk for long. All right. So therefore, he will buy certain medicine for my aunt. He bought a little bit more, and in Shanghai, people were willing to pay for it. And then he just traveled on both sides up to the point it's very difficult to come back and get out again. So he stayed in Hong Kong, and then I had to go to. Eventually, in 1953, I had to join him. Okay. At that time, the society is not very conducive for children to grow up in 1953. Because for the humble beginning of my father, he know if he ever go back to Shanghai, he will be prosecuted. Not because he's poor when he's young, he's not that he had to support his family. He married at before 20, just about 20, and then have to raise a few kids. We're 5 of them, 5 of us, and then every year. So and then very small operation just to make a living. But definitely he will be prosecuted because he have hired workers. And those workers he's really taken care of because from the countryside they have nothing to eat. You gave them the job, and the society is not very fair, and he's closed down the shop. But he ever, a hardworking person, ever go back to China at that time, he will consider to be a shop owner. He should be prosecuted. So therefore, he cannot go back to his hometown. He had to stay in Hong Kong. And then he can only, in 1953, only me and my sister can go to Hong Kong because you just can't get across the border at that time very easily. So therefore, the family had to split. But somehow, it's a desire. That kind of environment is not what everybody wants their children to grow up in at that time. So therefore, basically, that is my first experience in China. That is the China is first liberated. And that is the situation at that time. People have a choice. And then a lot of our neighbors in Shanghai are envious. Okay, at least you have 2 Chau to get out. So therefore, basically, people feel lucky if they are not in that society at that time, because different society have different period of time. So the lesson is the society at that time do not have a fair chance for everyone. They probably more fairer to just a group of people and not to everyone. And then a lot of people who are not knowing better, but if people have a choice, that is not a place to have your children to grow up in. That is 1953. Okay, the next step is us from 1953 to 1961, I'm in Hong Kong. I was very excited when I got to Hong Kong. Okay, that is basically summer of 1953. Then following month, I'm even more excited because I live in the area right next to the observation hill. And then if you go down to Nathan Road, it's only a short walk. And then all of a sudden, Nathan Road is blocked off. And then the children all lined up on the street. That is a military parade. It's a beautiful parade. There are trucks and even something like light a tank, and then cannons, and then the British soldier march first, and then it follow up with the foreign legionnaires, the Guyongbing, the Gurkhas, and then end up the Gurkhas look so small. I said, gee, they look like children compared to the British soldier, but you know what? In the whole world, the best soldier in the world that won the Falkland land is a Gurkha. The Gurkha are fierce. And then the Argentina surrender because if the British said, if you do not surrender, the Gurkha will come, and then they surrender. So and then people from Nepal is really for the resiliency, and then because of that, for Himalayas, the shepherd, they're helping the people climb the Mount Everest, are very resilient, and they're very brave, and they're very determined. And then I was very, very excited looking at that. But the thing is, very much people are afraid of the British because this is a colonial society. So therefore, the British in China are privileged. In certain area, only them they can buy. In the Hong Kong, in the mountain, in the peak, only they can buy property. And they are always given preference treatment in a lot of ways. And during the time in Hong Kong, and then by 1956, our father felt that there are a lot of unrest in Hong Kong. In 1954, there's riot in Hong Kong because of the new immigrants. Jobs are very difficult. And then there are people from mainland China, maybe army, just instigate a lot of riots. They burn a bread company factory called Garden. Later on become very, very famous. You can still buy the Garden 葱油饼 in right now even in U.S. Supermarket. They burned down, and my father feels very insecure. He just felt that war is coming down, and he decided to go to Vietnam. And then and it was suggested, he said, my father is very familiar with cotton. He said there are cottons in Pakistan. Why don't you go to Pakistan and buy cotton and then and ship them back to to Hong Kong, then they can really work on it. But somehow, let me talk about Vietnam later. When I reached about Vietnam. So therefore, 1956 and 55, my father by himself left home. Only my mother, myself, and my sister. My sister is young, is not to school yet. And for me, we had very little money at home, and she had to go back to get my other brother to come out. And then she doesn't know whether she can get them out or not. And then there's not much money. So I was taken to some of friends, our family friends, and then give them enough money to feed me. And they're very poor. And then for 1 year or more, because of that, I didn't go to school because we cannot afford to go to school. So therefore, and then we have to wait for my brother to come out, and then later on, my other brother come out, and then I have to go to, and my brothers come out. They say Hong Kong education is difficult, so therefore we have to go to school similar to China, some school by the Communist Party. So I said, when we started school, I had to go to those school again, and then spend some time over there, and then find out the education, the propaganda, and then we didn't really learn anything except that know a few communist songs, and then I still can remember sing a few, and then we have to change school. And once we change school, people just look down on, oh, you're from a Communist Party school. And then they always say you have to repeat it again. So it's a story of my life. I had to change school and change places all the time. And then so during the time, we're neighbor everybody. We're cordial to each other, and the feeling is Hong Kong is not a long-term place. So people just do not bother you, do not want to invest time with you. They just be polite, and everybody do about their own business. So there's very little compassion for each other. Each other just see you're a transient, I'm a transient. Because whenever there's opportunity, I will go away. And then besides, the government, what do we care? We don't have a voice. It's a colony. The British say, no matter what they say, we just follow. We just follow whatever. So just don't make trouble. Don't participate. And be indifferent. So therefore, it's just where people are not investing in the society. Because why do you want to invest in friendship? Why do you want to invest a foundation when they don't believe the foundation? And that is very much a colonial situation. So therefore, it's not a place for long term. It's not a place you want to build a future for your next generation. So eventually we'll come back to this. Are we looking for a better future? Are we building a true foundation for us, for generation and generation to come? Where and what we should do to adopt a place. And then so therefore, through very tumultuous time in Hong Kong, you have those when you finish grade school, you have to go to some kind of exam, And then the teacher know that I'll be go away anyway. They say, you cannot be getting very high school for the school. And then if you ever participate, our average score will be lower. So why don't you do not participate? So the whole fine. And then my mother and father are not there. Then I said, and my grandma doesn't know anything. No, my grandma is very smart, but she never had go to any school and then not knowing better. So therefore, for the last year of my grade school, it's really, I have nothing to do because the teacher ignored me and everything because they say, he's not going to go to exam, and then why should we give him any work to review or anything? That's almost irrelevant. So I become an irrelevant person in school. So therefore, and then to me it's just fine. There's much significant less work than any other students at that time. And then okay, I'll put it this way. This is what showed Hong Kong at that time. People don't care about each other. And then that is someplace the lesson in Hong Kong from 1953 to 1961. And then that you move away from it. And at that time, my feeling is this. People consider they are transient. Because they are transient, they don't have to participate. They do not have to contribute to society. And then, in my opinion, the city, in reminiscent, people reminiscent about those times, but somehow, it is, in my opinion, it is half that city because it's going nowhere. And then the British are not investing in China, and the people in Hong Kong are not investing in their future. And then that is 1953 to 1961. I think I just need to reflect on every period of my life. I mean, what is relevant and why we are here in the United States, and then continue to ask a question in reference to those periods. Okay, 1961 to 1964 in Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh City, now nobody almost majority of people here in the United States, especially among the Vietnamese, they say this is not Ho Chi Minh City, this is Saigon. Saigon is a beautiful city. Saigon is really, it's designed, the street, the way it's designed, it's just like Paris. You have beautiful river, beautiful park, and then the city is not in horizontal and vertical street. It's a lot of spider web type. It's a circle. 6 streets go to one area, and then it radiates out, and then reach another area, it radiates out, and then in between there's some boulevard to connect each other, and then to make it very interesting and very pretty. And right next to Saigon is a Chinese town called Chau. And then the Chau is designed differently, just like a traditional Chinese town. It's a big surprise to me. Not only that Saigon is a very beautiful city, they're wonderful people. Really wonderful people. I think the Vietnamese are not very aggressive. They're very glad the Chinese are there. But the Chinese come from all over China. There are 3 languages, major 4 languages in the Guangdong province. this Chaozhou, Kejia, Guangdong, Taishan, and the fifth, Hainan. They all speak a different dialect. And then there are a lot of people from Fujian. Okay, 6 places. And up to be, they are living very harmonious. They help each other. And then they live a very, very productive life. Then I talk about my father. My father was asked by people who want to buy cotton from Pakistan. He get on a very cheap ocean liner, basically a freight liner, and then stop from port to port and to port and port, so therefore is the cheapest way to Pakistan. The first stop is Vietnam, and then the ships would dock probably a day to load and unload merchandise, and then you walk around Vietnam, and then somebody introduced, maybe you look for this friend, you talk to them, you find the people very warm, and they say there's plenty of opportunity here. You do not have to go that far to Pakistan. And then let us introduce friends to you. So what do you need from Hong Kong? And then we can produce those things to Hong Kong, and then you can make a good living. He was so moved by the local people, especially the Chinese people, basically. They welcome him. They don't ask where you're from. They look at you when you're Chinese. They already warm to you. That kind of spirit. And because of that, when I went to Vietnam, I made a lot of friends. I went to a lot of benevolent society or different people speak different dialects. They welcome me. I went to, there are, especially the biggest benevolent society is 崇正会馆, 广绍会馆, 潮州会馆. And they have a lot of things. And then all the people from different areas, they form a very big hospital. And every year, everyone get together and raise money for that hospital. And people are very generous. But somehow, the Chinese is a very closed society. They are considered foreigners. They cannot participate in the local politics. They're considered, and then at times, people are so proud to remain the Chinese national. At that time, it's Republic of China. Most of them hold the Chinese passport. They hold on to it. They feel proud of it. They don't. They long to go back to China, but China maybe is afraid of them, or they're afraid of China at that time. But they identify themselves as Chinese in Vietnam, even though most of them had never seen China in their whole life, or even their parents never seen China. But they identify it. The future is not for the whole Vietnam as a whole, but the future they're building is for their community, the community they can control. And because of the contribution to general economy, they're actually generous to the Vietnamese people. The Vietnamese people actually appreciate that. And then they live very happily. And then I come to an observation. For those who are most generous and spend most of their effort and time in their own community, happen to be the most successful business people. Why? Because they are trusted. For those who are generous first, everybody, the whole community is generous to them. And then, if you believe in branding, just the personality is worth a lot by that branding. And because of branding, because they're honest, they really want to provide good service and good product. People believe them. If you do that, if you're generous to your society, if you're generous to your own people, you'll be trusted. So, for those people, there's no choice but to go up. There's no choice but to be successful. And that is a wonderful, wonderful the lesson I learned. So, unfortunately, Vietnam is in conflict. After my father went to Vietnam, they say, well, Vietnam is divided into two, and it's agreed upon that on latitude 38 or something like that. I don't remember the exact number. North is North Vietnam, South is South Vietnam, and that there will be peace. But somehow, there's no peace. And then the year I went to Vietnam, that's the year war started. So my experience is that I have experienced personally, even though it was really wonderful time for me, but my dream is basically very much crushed. It's because the political instability. Happened to be my house. We live about maybe 2 blocks away from the presidential palace, but somehow it's just 2 blocks away on the side. And then, year after that, the next year, the student began to revolt. Because, not to the Chinese, it is the Catholic and the Buddhism has some conflict. And then the president at that time, Ho Ding Yang, is ruled with iron wrist. He suppressed the Buddhism. His brother is archbishop. And then he's not popular. Then one day, we heard machine gun and gunshot and cannon and everything. The next morning, before the news, I walked to the presidential palace. And surrounding the presidential palace, there were officers or government office, and all the youth go inside those buildings and pull out documents and then burn the furniture. I walked by, I saw a dog incinerated. They put gasoline and burned the dog. I now walk further, and then the presidential palace, the gate is open, I just walk in. And then there are all kind of people running around, and then certain people beat up somebody else. I was a early teen, and then I watched that, and then I walk upon and I step on something. It's a bullet, spent bullet, I put it in my pocket, and then I went through that. And before that, there were a period of 3 months. That 3 months, I ride a bicycle. I ride my own bicycle to school and back. It's about 4.5 miles. But during the 4.5 miles in the evening when I go home, I'll body search at least 6 to 10 times because the students are revolting because of the suppression. I will go through that. And one day, I passed by the Spider roundabout, we call 7th Street conversion point. So many people. get down from a bicycle and to come watch, and then there's a huge circle, and a monk was sitting in the middle. And they're doing all kind of ceremony, but I cannot stay there too long. I had to go home. And then the next day, that is the first month called self-immolation. He burned himself, and then it was in national news. So therefore, I happened to be either trouble follow me or I follow trouble all the time. So therefore, from Shanghai, I watched the airplane to come in, and then in Hong Kong, I witnessed the riots by the Workers' Party in Vietnam. I just went into the coup, and I witnessed the first monk that burned himself, that overturned the government. And subsequently, in 1963, there are at least 3 to 4 coups. The government had changed. Each time, they bombed the presidential palace, and each time we hear big noises. So therefore, this is how I spent in Vietnam, up to the point that all the school had to close. And then for the second half of 1963, I cannot go to school. And then the family had to go to Hong Kong, so I went back to Hong Kong in 1964. That was now Vietnam could be, in a closed society, a very good future for our youth. But it's a closed society. I think it's a good society. But somehow, if you do not control the politics, you do not control, have any say to the future of the country, even though no matter how nice to your own people, how much you invest in your own community, it's not your country. It's somebody else. If something happens, you cannot do anything about it. You can build up foundation. You can build up goodwill. But if that is not your country, you have no voice. Therefore, life will be interrupted, and you cannot do anything about it. Then you're hopeful for your future generation, but if you do not control it, it's insecure. So think about it in compare to the United States. Okay. Wow, my goodness, time's up. Okay, I don't know. I'm only to my team, and then there's 70 years of experience. And then okay, I'll probably, if you don't mind, if you want to hear the more exciting thing afterwards, maybe you guys want to welcome me back. And so therefore, the question and answer will be after the whole speech. And that's only my life experience. And then there are 4 more topics. This is topic number 1, part 1. Okay, now, in Hong Kong, 1964 to 1967, and then for the half year, I didn't go to school. And then because, you see, I was born in a Catholic area in Shanghai, and then some of the priests ran away from China, get me into one school. So I went to a Catholic school. I didn't know the priests and priests had tremendous amount of power struggle among themselves. And then 9 months later, I was a victim. And then because the priest behind me lost to the other priest. So all the students that he kind of protect will be kicked out of the school. So I got kicked out after 1 year. That was middle of 1965. And the next year, I have no place to go because I have no records of any schooling in high school in Hong Kong. And in Vietnam, I didn't really go to school full year either. I went to the French school for a year, and I went to a kind of Chinese school for a year, and that's it. And then to Hong Kong, I was goofing off for a year, and then they say, hey, you cannot really pass the Gaokao. So therefore, no school will accept me. So therefore I go to a school that is basically a small house, have 4 rooms downstairs, 4 rooms upstairs, and then 7 classrooms, and one room is for standing room only for the teachers. And then I finished 1 year, and then somehow, luckily, I passed. So therefore, it's a miracle. then the next year, because I came from a no-name school, I just go to some of this very commercialized preparation school for university. That's a 6 year, because Hong Kong high school is 5 years. So spend a year there, and then then I came to the United States. But that year is very eventful year. That year, from 1966 to 1967, Cultural Revolution in China. And Hong Kong becomes a city by terrorism. If you have to live through terrorism in 1966 to 1967, that is what you feel on a daily basis. You're living in a terrorized city. So what happened? Similar to what happened in Paris in the smaller scale. Okay, the Communist Party sent people over, and then they try to excite and recruit communist individuals. And the student have no choice, and teacher in those schools have no choice, because they will lose a job, and the student is basically told, we have to throw away the society. So what happened is this: murder. They go out and kill people. They throw bombs in crowded area. Just exactly what happened in a smaller scale. But the feeling is the same. Honest, decent people who believe in truth and report the truth will be killed. Many of them are killed. And then they are asked to storm the police station. The police station is like a fortress everywhere. And then you're afraid to walk on the street because they throw bombs. They make mines. You step on it, the bomb goes off and kill people. And Hong Kong, in that year, during the Chinese Revolution inside China, Hong Kong becomes a city of terrorists. Okay, I left Hong Kong is because the British do not invest in higher education. In the whole Hong Kong, where tens of thousands of students graduate from high school, do you know how many university seat entrance you can get into to Hong Kong University? The freshman year is only 500. The tens of thousands have no place to go. They're not supposed to have higher education. So what happened is just the only choice is go to foreign country. Do you remain, either you are among the 500, they will hire you as a government worker later. There's no future unless you decided to have no education and work for the British. And then you can never rise above the manager level. This is what the colonial society is designed for. And then among that time, in 1967, a lot of people, not all the people, only the well-to-do people, their decision is this is not my home. Most people cannot go out. For those people who have opportunity to immigrate, they immigrate. And then I have the same feeling about the Syrian people, the good people. There's no hope. And nobody is going to rescue them. They have to run. So my heart goes to them. So therefore, in 1967, people do not really believe Hong Kong is a place they want to invest the time in. The terrorism. And then the British are not building a future for the Chinese. so you just have to leave. A lot of people just immigrate. I think about that time, or even earlier, I think Ho-Wing's family decided to immigrate. Not because the family, if the society is more stable, why should we go to a different country? We have to leave. And it's a difficult time. You just have to accept. So therefore, that bring me to United States. And then I came to United States. So every period, there's certain very significant thing happened during the period I was there. And I say even more exciting for me. Okay, probably after this, my school year, I probably have to continue. Oh, should I stop and then just do, interchange, or you want me to talk about next period?
We have about 15 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Basically, it's just the if I do not bore you to death, then I continue. Let me count. I'm on. I just finished 4 periods. There are 8 more periods I want to talk about. Okay. So today I will stop at the 5th period. Okay. Is that okay? Okay. After that, I can finish in one session the next 7 periods. But that is only to the first topic of all. Oh, okay, hold on. Okay, now I have to answer this one. Look. Let me tell you why. I have to answer this phone because my brother have very advanced cancer and is in operation. And then they have called me 4 times, I didn't look. So if you excuse me, I'm the call. And then the operation started for 2 o'clock and then I don't know what happened. No, an answer. Okay, let me call you back. I'm in the middle of a speech, so I'm delivering the speech. I'll call you right away. All right, okay. I'll call you back. All right. Sorry about that. It's very important. Okay. Well, anyway, how about I do not talk about my time of the Free Street Memorial Park, about Mario and his peace movement in Sprout Hall, and then the movement that created the civil rights. I've been there, and then the People's Park, and then going through the National Guard, and then going through my work in Christianity, and all those. I'm not going to talk about it. But instead, I'm going to jump to one area that Annie want me to talk about. It's about my children and their choice. How about that? Okay. Because this is what Annie want me to talk about. And then it's by chronological order. I'm going to talk about them, the 7 of them. And then, because Annie said, what is in it? What is your expectation of your children and how they behave? I start chronologically. Kevin is 43. He's the first one. And then Clara is 40, the second one. And then Derek is 39. And then and Nelson is 36. And Elaine is 35, and Howard is 34. So let me tell you about them. And then what they prepare for themselves and what they end up. Kevin is very, well, he went to school early. So he's absent-minded, he's walk around the class, and then the teacher said, you should not send your children early. So, and then he went to UC Irvine, and then study biotechnology. But somehow during high school, he's very interested in the Christian work. And then he becomes during his teenager, the last year, when he was 16, he became Sunday school teacher. And then he became the Sunday school principal during his last year in high school. And then become very active in church. And after he received his bachelor's degree in biotech, he went to the seminary school, Fuller, and then become assistant pastor for a few years. And then he went on to study ancient Hebrew poetry. And he's very happy. He's a professor at the University of Southern Africa. But he doesn't need to be there because that subject is, you can't have enough students from one country anyway. So he actually teaches from University of Wisconsin instead. And then during the way he supported himself, he became a chemistry instructor at University of Wisconsin, became the best chemistry instructor there, even though he never majored in that that subject. So, but the school just retained him and then wanted him to teach forever. Now he's an Old Testament scholar in archaic Hebrew poetry, so therefore it's and then he really enjoys it. So in such a case, he's very happy, enjoy life, and then bury himself in the area you can only have less than a handful of potential students, even in a large country like the United States, Uni International. It's a very obscure area. Then I think it's this. We're very happy for him. He has a lot of self-confidence. The next one is Claire. Clara is a very determined person. What she did is this. She was very determined. And then one summer during high school, she volunteered in a hospital. And then she is very determined to be a medical doctor. But somehow, her personality, I don't really think she should be a doctor. But she's determined. And then she actually excelled in everything else except science. And then she went to Stanford. And then very determined to be a doctor. She hates it. She went to become a doctor. She hates it. And then end up to have very, very bad relationship with his father, with his mother, because he hates her life. Only I can approach him. And then she's very quiet, all by herself, being a doctor. Sometimes the children very determined, but somehow it's us. A diversified life, and then encourage them into the area that they like. So we have so still, she's 40, very difficult to approach her. She's angry all the time. So you got to the best university, you become a medical doctor, and then I think we just don't know what to do with her. So determined on something we all know is wrong for her, but somehow that is the kind of accomplishment every parent wants them to be, and that's parent. So therefore we have to be some reflection. Okay, what do we want our children to be? We want them to be happy, have self-confidence, have a lot of good friends, and then be happy. And end up Clara is not happy. Next one is Derek. Derek is very unusual. She is the most outstanding student in San Bernardino High School. He's the one that selected among the 4 to intern in high school for a judge. He wrote a opinion. Very few high school students can write an opinion for a judge. Because of that, that actually ruined his life in my opinion. It's because he went on, he wanted to go to an Ivy League school, and a small Ivy League school, he went to Dharma. He graduated first in the class, won the Rockefeller Award for Excellency, and then won another award for university. And during his spare time, he helped his wife, a wife-to-be, tutor her in bio and chemistry and things like that, and then so she can go to UPenn Medical School. And then she went to UPenn and worked for the Fortune 500 after he becomes a consultant to a Boston consulting company. And then after that, after she graduated from medical school, then arranged his wife to work near the Boston area, and then he went to Harvard Law School and won high honor and graduated, and then become a lawyer. Immediately he found this is the wrong profession for him. He really hated it, really hated it. And then he just complained, and then he quit within 9 months. It becomes and then he had a CFA, and then but somehow his interest is in finance. Now he's in finance, but somehow, unfortunately, for 5, 6, 7 years, all those time, he really hates it. But he was able to get out of the area that he really hates. That's Eric. So therefore, parents, really, what do you want your children to be? The next one is Nelson. Nelson is a happy-go-lucky, is a very nice person, but however, he's not very aggressive and very obedient and very nice. And then he worked for a seller for a couple of years, and then he started working for my other brother for a year, and then he didn't like it, and I said, why not? I have one investment company. I'm the only investor, and why don't you work for them? And then the only problem is that you're not going to get paid. And then the company said, I cannot pay you, but nobody get paid. All the 6 founders. And then they say, how about we pay you stock? Oh, Nelson said, fine. And then he worked there for 9 months. He really hated the CEO. And the CEO get bought out. The rest of the 5 founders are really working very well together. And then they went public, and for that 9 months, his stock is worth $9 million right now. He's semi-retired. So that's Nelson. He's very happy. Okay. Then next is my daughter, Elaine. Elaine is a very serious student. He's really self-motivated. And then in high school, both my kids are basic growth in Hong Kong, and they finished high school in Hong Kong. And then he really he do everything necessary to be a good student. So he was in when debate is supposed to operate in the school debate team, and then to be good to be the school publication editor, she become the editor, and then the NSC International Greenpeace, and then she just went to help out. And then say, hey, you need to be good. You need to do some sports, and then she practiced swimming, and become the school swimming team captain, and then participate in the school meet, and then didn't get any medal. Come to number 4 in West Road in Hong Kong for his class, but not too bad. Number 4 in the whole city, and then studied very hard and become National Honor Society, high school, and then went to Berkeley, get high honor, and then went to Columbia and graduate school and everything. But all along, she worked so hard because she lacks self-confidence. She's 35 and continually having struggle, and because of maybe some chemical imbalance. And then we have to seek help to help her. And then very motivated and very, very nice. And she needs help. And we're so lucky that his husband is very nice. And then really, and then now she's getting back her confidence and continue. She has 2 kids, and then right now, enough work at home. One is 3 years old, one is 1 year old. And then the point is that you have to let them, and then you try to help them. And then I think she'll do very well because you continue to try very hard. And then let me talk about my son, Howard. Howard is 34 now. During primary school and high school, he tends to bored all the time. And they have a temper, and do not want to reduce people, have very short temper, and don't want to do homework because that's boring. And then so therefore the students, the teacher asks us to go into the class that your son doesn't want to do homework. And I'll say, well, and my wife is have a master in education, which is psychology. That doesn't help either. So, but anyway, we just let him be, because the more force, the more resistance. And somehow he went to. And then in college, we think he can never get to any school, but somehow the renegade, he wrote an article applying to university saying that how to be a hip hop disc jockey, and then the web designer, and then and find passion in Vietnam. For that article, it said, how can you write article like that? For that article, he got accepted by Berkeley with 3-point average of 2.8. So he graduated from Berkeley, and then he maintained his habit of not turning in homework. He said homework is only give you 10 points. So therefore, if I don't hold homework, I can go ski every week during winter time, and that will be in the way of my skiing. So he graduated his upper division. He never turned in his homework, so he get 1 grade down. Otherwise he will be straight A. Now, but after that, he become very responsible, very articulate, and really the sweetest person that can be. But during high school and college, it's almost impossible. So therefore, my point is this. Let the children be. Love them, care about them, and make sure they are diversified. The most important thing is you to have to accept them of what they are. But they need help, then you help them. But give them confidence. Don't compare them to other people. Oh, this guy go to Harvard, this guy go to what? Don't compare. That will be invariably give them a lot of pressure. And don't say, hey, I love you, you are accepted because God gave us unconditional love. Same thing, parents should give unconditional love to their children, whatever, whoever they are. Okay, if there's an opportunity in the future, I'll continue my story of my life, and then I'll continue about community work. Maybe in the future, if not too boring, I'll tell you my business life. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sandy, for the inspiring talk. We really appreciate your advice and sharing your words of wisdom and life with us, and especially when your family is still sick, taking the time to see us. We really appreciate that. Let's give Sandy another round of applause. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I thank you very much for your participation in this seminar. I hope you enjoyed the program. You learned a lot right today from Sandy. So I just want to make a quick announcement. Our next program will be on December 21st. So our Papa Tri-Valley chapter and the San Ramon Valley Unified School District proudly announce we have invited Tom Tolarson, the California State Superintendent of Public Instruction, to speak for us the topic of our education system covering kindergarten to 12th grade. And of course, we want to hear more from Sandy's talk for the... Oh, hi. Okay, so please stay tuned for the event details. We hope to see you on December 21st at Sam. Andy has a few words to add.
I think it's, I don't know, once Cici is speaking, and we have Cici here.
Oh, Cici.
You have a few words, come here.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you, everyone.
Thank you again for our volunteers and many other individuals who contribute to the success of the event. The auditorium will be closed at 9, so for our further discussion, please move to the lobby. So have a safe trip home. Good night.